Stocks move in momentum burst of 8 to 20% in 3 to 5 days. This is the inherent tendency of the stock market, and you would see if you study the stock market that this tendency has existed since the market have been around, and you can profit from this tendency. In order to profit from this tendency, if you study the stocks which in immediate like last 5 days which have made 20% plus move, then you will get very good idea about what is this phenomena of momentum burst is. And if you look at last 1 week and see, there were like at least 247 stocks which made 20% move in last 5 days, and there were 130 stocks which made a move to the downside of 20%. So obviously there are more moves to the upside in the last 1 week. And I'll show you a scan in TC2000 to look at this particular kind of stocks and also to learn from these stocks. And once you learn from these stocks, you can create a way to enter these stocks on the first day of their move. This study is post-mortem kind of a study, but reality is like many of these stocks I entered last week and made money on the long side. So this particular way of scanning and looking for a study allows you to build expertise in trading momentum burst, and it allows you to create rules for entering a momentum burst. It allows you to create rules for exiting a momentum burst. It allows you, if you do this study every week, it will allow you to develop visual memory as to how these kind of setups appear. It will also allow you to classify different kinds of setups. When you look at momentum burst on the bullish side, you will find there are different kinds of momentum burst which happen. Similarly, this kind of a study will allow you to profit from both sides of the equation in the market. And the time frame where we are talking about 3 to 5 days allows you to make money at a rapid rate if you can understand and if you can comprehend and if you can build an expertise in momentum burst. So let's look at like how I do this study every week, and I spend around 20 minutes every day doing this, and on the weekend I spend more time doing this. So in this particular way, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for stocks which have made 20% move in the last 5 days and which had a volume of 100,000 plus in each of the last 3 days, and they were priced above 5. So if you actually look at like in a stock's price below 5, you will see the number will be much larger. But I'm looking for any stock which made 20% plus move in any of the last 5 days, right? Because stocks can make a 20% move and then they can like go down also. So that's why within last X bars 5. So let's look at some of these stocks and try and understand what this momentum burst is really. So when you look at these stocks, you have 247 stocks here. And when you look at these 247 stocks, what you're going to see is that they had each of these, like if you see Meli here, this was a 1, 2, 3, 4 days of momentum burst where the stock went up. And when you look at that particular momentum burst, what you'll see is that even if you didn't get in on if you missed the first day, in 3 days, the stock made 11 or 12% move, right? And a 13% move in 4 days, right? Before giving up some of the gains. Similarly, if you see UPST, UPST had a momentum burst here. And on this particular day, and after that, in next 2 days, the stock went up 20%. Now, these kind of moves are extremely common. How do you know they are extremely common? You can see for yourself. If you see here itself, like you'll see that in 3 days, the stock made 19% move. And many of these moves, some of them can be just in 1 day or 2 days. Like this is just 1 day, the stock made 21% move next day after having a momentum burst. At the start of a momentum burst, at the start of any of these momentum burst, if you see, you'll see that there is a big range expansion bar. And that is what I scan for. I scan for stocks which are having a large range expansion and then try and enter on this day. So this is a very profitable way of making money in the market. And I'm just going to look at the long side moves on this, and then we'll look at the short side moves. So if you look at this particular thing, in 3 days, the stock made a move of 12%. So it's typically 8 to 20% kind of a moves, 15% moves, and you can study a lot of these. There are a lot of these last week, and it was a very good period for making money because stocks were making 18 to 20% move very rapidly. Even if you missed the first day gains, and if you entered, you still had in 4 days the stock making 19% move. Monday Corporation, 3 days it made 16% move. and so on and so forth. If you study many of these, like Nate, this is a stock which I actually bought, and I bought it like around here. And if you see, the stock in 3 days made a 19% move or 13, 14% move, right? And before giving up the gains. And if you're a swing trader, capturing many of these moves of 3 to 5 days where the stock makes this 8 to 20% move gives you a very good opportunity to make money. This is a 26% move in 5 days, right? So if you study this, you will learn that there are different ways in which this move happens. But at the beginning of the move, there is always a large bar, and that is what we call it as a momentum burst kind of a bar, and from which the stock goes up. So I scan for this kind of moves, and if you see that this is like this is a signal which tells you that there has been a big move, and then the stock moves in that direction. And here is the good thing about this kind of a study is that if you read a book on trading, there are very highly selected examples which the author has picked up as an idealized examples. Here you will see everything in reality which has happened in the last 1 week, whether it is good, bad, or ugly, and you can study it for yourself, right? Car Gurus, which was actually a earnings breakout, there was a big breakout here, and in 2 days it like made a 52% move, or 3 days, like just in 2 days it made a 52% move, and so many of these moves. Now this kind of a moves which are happening near the lows are the kind of moves which I call them, or there's this kind of a setup which I trade is a bottom bounce kind of a setup, where you're looking for something which is like a near 52-week low or near a bottom, and then it makes a move. And it's a very profitable setup because in a very short period of time, when the move happens, it happens very explosively. And if you go through all these, and I'll just run through this quickly for you to see, but if you take your time and calculate each one of these move and mark down what is the move likely, how did it start, what was the first day gain, and things like that, you will be able to find a way to scan for them on the first day. And if you scan for them on the first day, and if you enter on the first day, if you 2 or 3 days, the stock makes 8 to 20% move. Most professional traders, stock traders, will consider that as a very good way of making money. And the opportunities are so much because if you see here, again, this is the reality versus what you read in a book or what you hear on Twitter or on blogs, that there are 247 opportunities to make money on the long side on a momentum burst of 3 to 5 days. Many of them were like really very explosive, some of them making 30-40% moves in just 2 or 3 days. Here, this is a 9% move, right? Now, many of those things are giving back the gains, but the idea behind momentum burst is to really trade the move for 3 to 5 days or 8 to 20%. And there are certain things, if you learn this method, which you will realize is that these momentum bursts start showing up very early in the morning on the first day of their momentum burst. So if you can get in early on a momentum burst, then what happens is that you are able to make part of the first day gain itself. As a result of that, you can move your stops very rapidly and you can make a lot of money. So momentum burst is one of the ways, and it's a relatively easy way to make money as a swing trader. Once you understand the concept, once you build a total system around it, once you have the proper guidelines for selecting this particular stock. Now, let me just quickly run through so that you can see visually yourself these moves. And I always look at how much is the percentage move in this, and calculate how much percentage move has happened in 3 to 5 days, because that tells you how much was the profit potential for a 3 to 5 days move. And you'll see that when I'm doing this, I'm not considering the first day's gain, because even if you don't get the first day's gain, this is a 31% move in 3 days or 4 days, right? And so on and so forth. So you see, and many of these moves start from bottom. Now, a lot of people have been trained, or a lot of people have been conditioned to think by various authors or various traders that look, and you should not look at a stock which is going down, or only stocks which are near 52-week high are the good, or like this and that. And but tell me one thing: if you are in a stock like this, right? Like here, I did a trade last week of Nate where I bought Nate here and I sold on the third day for 20-25% profit. Now, is that bad? Is there anything wrong in making money from stocks which are going down? There is a lot of moralization or like in a lot of things which are in trading. People, because they are trading things which are near 52-week high, they try and tell you, look, not to do. But this is why you should study on your own these moves. And when you study these moves on your own, and when you look at these moves, what you'll see is that there is a way to make money from these moves. And it is highly profitable way to make money because you're just holding a trade for 2 3 days. It makes 8 to 10%. You find a next trade, and in a year, how many moves like this happen? In last 1 week, there are 250 moves happened, and this is not a bullish market. Also, in a bullish market, you're going to get like so many 300 moves in a week. So you multiply that by 52 week, how many moves are possible? And this is just the long side we are looking at. I will also show you the short side, because similarly on the short side also this same phenomena operates where stocks go down in 3 to 5 days move. So you have the cyber arc again, see 3 days, and so many of these, like each of these looks same. Now if you want to make money from this, you should classify these moves into different types. Like this is something which is starting from a bottom, so that's kind of a bottom bounce. But if you look at something like this, right, it started near the high. So this is a move where like the stock has made 45% move in just a couple of days, right? And that's near the high. So you have both mix of stocks which were near the high also, which made the move, and you had a mix of stocks which are near the low also, which made a move. And once you classify them, you'll see Occidental Petro. I was also in this particular move, and I did hold it for 3 days. So this particular stock also was near high. So the momentum burst doesn't have to have start from the uh, 52-week high, or doesn't have to start from, it can start from a low. And especially in a bearish market, when the market get extremely oversold and you get these bearish rallies, that time momentum burst of 3 to 5 days is more, um, the magnitude terms, it's a very rapid increase in 2 to 3 days. So it's highly profitable way of making study. So study this 247 if you are like, that is, if you are serious about making money and you are really like motivated to make money and make money with the lowest risk possible, then study these moves of 2 to 3 days or 3 to 5 days and learn from them and see what happens on the first day. Obviously, I run scans to find these moves on the first day, and I run my scan early so I can try and find these moves even by 10 o'clock or even before 10 o'clock. So this is on the long side we looked at. Now, you can look at the same thing on the short side. Even on the short side, momentum burst works similarly. Only thing is that momentum burst on the short side works best when the market is bearish. When the market is going up, if there is a big breakdown, it doesn't necessarily will have a follow through. But because when the market itself is going down, you'll see good follow through on bearish side also. So let's look at in the last 1 week, how many of these kind of moves which happened on the downside, and learn from them, and then you can build a system around them. So in order to look at that, let's look at study 20% plus to the bearish side. And for this particular study, what I have done is I looked at like in stocks which are down 20% plus anytime during the last 5 hours. Okay, so it's a so now if you look at on the downside, like this stock, just in one day it made 26% move, and then like here broke down, and in just one day also made 17% move to the downside. So the momentum burst works on both sides, and you'll see that the signal was here on this particular day, right, for a shorting kind of a thing. Similarly, you'll see Dawa, and then like just in one day the stock is down 11%. You'll see obviously EPAM is down because of the situation in Ukraine, but like there are other stocks like AC, which is a stock which is the favorite of many people, and then it broke down, and from that breakdown in just 4 days the stock is down now 24%, right? Similarly, you had APTV, which is breaking down, and then it made a move of like almost 16% in a couple of days. Capri Holding, you have like eFeed, Philips Van Hussein, and so many of them, like IPGP Photonics, like here it's a breakdown, and in 4 days the stock is down 18%. Similarly here NTLA, Umbrella, GitLab, and so on and so forth. Rivian Auto again, like breaking down, and from the breakdown, it is down 24%. So you can find these moves on the long side, you can find these moves on the short side. Now, if you have study this, you are going to find certain things. And I highly recommend that those who are interested in making money using this kind of an approach, especially those who are swing traders kind of a thing, to study these kind of a moves. And when you study these kind of moves, what you will realize is momentum burst is a short-term phenomena where in 3 to 5 days a stock makes 8 to 20% move. If they are lower price stocks, they can make even 40% move in just 3 days or 5 days. If they are higher price stocks, like stocks priced very high, $300, $500, then they'll move in increments of $5 to $300 in 3 to 5 days. And this move can start from any level. The stock doesn't need to have established momentum for it to make an impulse move of 3 to 5 days. So it can start from a 52-week low, it can start from a 52-week high, it can start even if the stock is trading below 50-day moving average, it can start even if the stock is trading below 200-day moving average, it can start if the VWAP is not going up or going down, it can start from any level. Okay, it happens every day. It happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As long as the market is open, it happens. It happens in every country, wherever there is a stock market. The only country where it will not happen is where the stock market is not there at all. Any country where you look at there is a stock market, the stocks behave in a similar manner. The reason why this momentum burst kind of a thing happens is that whenever there's a buying, the buying is noticed and other people start buying, and the buying continues for 3 to 5 days before the buyers exhaust themselves. That is why this phenomenon works. In this kind of a trading or in this kind of a phenomena, obviously your best entry is as early as possible on the first day when the stock starts breaking out, and the exit, by definition, if you're trying to trade 3 to 5 days, 8 to 20% move, your exit is going to be at third day or fourth day, and you are like at a 8 to 20% kind of a profit potential. Now, this particular kind of a trading is suitable for people who are active traders. It is suitable for people who are swing traders and who want to look at opportunities throughout the year. People like investors, working people, they have their own constraints or they have their own ways of looking at things. They're looking to find moves which are going to last for a longer duration and all. So this is not a method for them. This is not a method for somebody who is stuck in his mentality and thinking that the only way to make money in the market is by looking at stocks near 52-week high. This is not the method for those people who think that a stock should have earnings, sales growth, or can slim characteristic to make a move. Because many of these stocks are going to make a move for no reason but buyers just stepped into those stocks. This is not a method for those who cannot find these methods. They find these stocks on the first day and try and enter early. Now, if you are one of those person who wants to make money using momentum burst, then try and study these methods. Try and study these stocks. Try and do this for a couple of weeks. You study this for 6 weeks, and you are with your own eyes, you'll be able to see that actually stocks to move in this kind of 3 to 5 days moves. You will also see that look, and it doesn't make sense to keep on holding them after 3 to 5 days because most of them might end up giving up the gains after 3 to 5 days. You'll also realize how you can enter early. You'll also realize where to put a stop. You'll also realize what is the realistic profit potential of these moves. And once you do that, you can build a method which will help you make money for the next 10 years, 5 years, 10, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Because this inherent tendency of the market has been around since the market started trading. If you can pick up a chart from 1920s, 1921 or 1940s, 1950s, 1960s and look at that chart, it's going to have a momentum burst. This is inherent nature of market moves. So if you are looking for something which is so structural and which is so inherent to the way market operates and profit from it, then momentum burst is the method to do it. And every week, if you study these stocks which are up 20% plus, you will become good at it. And as a result of your own effort and as a result of your own study, you will realize the nuances of trading this method and making it work for you.